Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Thank you so much for waiting. I know it's been a couple of days since I can touch base about some of this news, but I actually was out of town, helping my girlfriend do a couple things, move to my new state, all that stuff. You kind of know how I made a move a little bit ago. So this really big news broke, and a couple of people were asking me about it, and it's a pretty huge rumor. I shouldn't really call it news. This is definitely a rumor we're talking about. And I wanted to be able to jump on it right away and make a video and discuss it for you guys. But of course I couldn't because I was moving around the country for a couple of days. But I'm back. This is still a pretty hot button topic. There's a lot going on with the rumors of Nintendo's next console. And I've had a lot of people ask me about it on Facebook and Twitter, which I super appreciate. Making sure that everyone was aware that I was aware of what was going on and wanting to hear my thoughts on what's happening with these, again, rumors, only rumors. And some people feel like it's not really best to spend too much time discussing rumors, which I totally get. I've made a lot of rumor videos about the NX stuff the past couple of weeks, just like a lot of other folks. And because it's all controversial, people start really picking sides of this camp or that camp and what's going on, and should we be discussing rumors because they are only rumors. And I think that it's okay to discuss rumors, especially with something like with this, when the idea of a new console, a new generation, Nintendo's NX and what's going on. I think it makes sense to discuss that stuff because, yes, it's a rumor, and it could, part of it could turn out to be true, none of it could turn out to be true, all of it could turn out to be true. You never really know. But because there's that element of, if it's true, what would that mean? That's why I think it's okay to discuss this stuff. That's why I like to discuss this stuff. I think this is fun, especially when it comes to Nintendo, my favorite company. A lot of you, they're your favorite company as well. Because any element of these stories could be true, that's why it's important to discuss it, And like I said, fun. It's just something I like to do, and I think we all like to talk about it, even though only part of it or none of it could turn out to be true. So, what's going on with Nintendo in these rumors? What is it that I'm talking about? I'm sure you know. There's been two huge pieces of news that came out this last weekend about... The first news was... Okay, a new patent suggests that Nintendo's next console, that the NX, may not have an optical disc drive. It may not be something that's reading discs in physical format fashion. Which, of course, the first red flag in our minds goes to, okay, does that mean it's not going to play physical games at all? Is it going to be, what a lot of people have been wondering that maybe Sony or Microsoft would do first, or maybe the entire gaming industry in the new generations in the next couple of years may turn to, which is all streaming or all digital downloads, basically no more physical media. That's the first thing that we think about when we hear about that rumor of the patent of Nintendo's next console. The other thing that some people started to think about, and I thought about this as well, is what if that means it's just not going to be a disc? Like a DVD or a Blu-ray disc or, CDs, stuff like that. What if it becomes like cartridge or even something similar to like what the DS is with little cards, where the games are showing up on cards or cartridges again. And that would still be the physical media, but it would no longer be a disc. And yeah, I've considered all that as well. And then the other recent news that came out the very next day, which I think at this point was just yesterday, Sunday, from the date that I'm recording this. It could have been Saturday or Sunday. Basically, this last weekend, this rumor came out that what they might be doing is two different SKUs for the NX. It would be two different machines that you could purchase. One that would be for physical media, and the other that would be for streaming. So that maybe you would buy one with the optical disc drive, or you would buy one that's just meant to download and stream and do all these things for digital stuff, for digital gaming. And man, people have gone crazy with this, and it's very controversial. It's, when I think about it, it's controversial just for me and my own tastes and what I would want from Nintendo's next machine, and for gaming in general going forward. And I gotta say, more than I expected, people are really against this. Which, if you would have just told me the rumor and I would have had days to think about it before I would have seen people's reactions, I would certainly think a lot of people would not be on board with it, but I think that I would have guessed that a lot of people would be still okay with it, or some people would be excited about it, or saying, yes, this is a good decision. And much to my surprise, people are almost unanimously against the idea, is what it seems. And I get that. I mean, part of the advantage of me not being able to record a video, make a video for you guys about my thoughts on this right away, is it gave me a couple days and some time to really let it sink in and think about it and determine how I really felt about it. we'll stick with the main rumor that kind of supersedes the first rumor. The main rumor being, okay, there might be two machines released. One you could buy for digital and one you could buy for physical. And when I think about that overall concept, do I think it's great? No. If that was really what Nintendo did, I don't think that it's like the greatest, the smartest idea. It doesn't get me excited for the possibilities of the NX. But it also doesn't make me mad either. And I don't think that it ruins the excitement of the NX at the same time. It doesn't like further my excitement, nor does it kill it. It basically I just feel plateaued. I think that the best thing that we can take away from this, the best thing that I can take away from this as somebody who, as you know, lives and dies by physical media. I think that maybe because this came after the first rumor where people took that first patent as, oh my God, it might be only digital, which that, you know me, I would have been so upset about. And I don't even know what I would have done if that was the case. So this new rumor, it was almost like bringing me back into the positive side, because it's like, oh, okay, it still gives me the option of a physical format machine. And I think that's the most positive thing I'm taking away from this, you know? And it's like, yes, I don't think that they should release two different versions and make one all physical, one all digital. I don't think that they should do that. But the fact that the option would still remain for me, if that was the case, for me to buy the machine that gives me physical format going forward, then that's why it's like, I kind of almost don't care. Like, I care because it's huge news. It would be huge news if it turned out to be true, I should say. And it would be, you know, people would start picking sides. People would have a lot to talk about. It would be a huge controversy. If it was confirmed to be this way, the controversy would just go nuts. People would just go insane picking sides and being on different sides of the fence, and if it was good or bad. And I think most people would be against it. And they would kind of be right to be against it, you know, but at the end of the day, when I think about just myself as a gamer and just myself as a Nintendo fan, what I would want out of the machine would still be presented to me as an option. So it's kind of like I don't care. It's like, you know, that digital-only machine, for, you know, if that's what people would want and some people would buy it and that's how they want to get their games, that's fine. I've said that about digital media even today with today's gaming market and on today's machines. I don't care. Like, I like the physical stuff. There's no place in my life almost entirely for downloadable stuff. But I don't really care that it exists, because I get that some people like doing it, and I think that's a great advantage to the modern gaming age, is that they can deliver games to people in a variety of ways. So provided that they don't remove my ability to walk into a store and take home a game case of the game that I've been waiting to play, I don't care what other options they offer. So I don't care if Nintendo would make a machine that only does downloadable stuff for people who like that. Fine. Doesn't faze me, because I can still go into a store and I can buy the version of the NX that lets me have physical copies, and I can walk into a store and buy my physical copy of the next Metroid and the next Zelda and whatever else I want, and it doesn't like hinder my gaming life, you know? It's one of those things where it doesn't make me mad, because according to these rumors, my style of play wouldn't be affected. So it's, you know, to make a comparison to like a real life issue, you know, this is like really heavy handed for me to talk about on a gaming channel, but it kind of goes to, you know, how some people are like really homophobic. And when the recent law was passed that made unanimous across all 50 states, gay marriage is legal. That's a great thing. And the comparison here that I'm making, as weird as this may sound, is people make the argument like, what, of others who are maybe against gay marriage. Like, I don't like that you could get married if you're gay. And the argument to that is, well, someone's marriage, regardless of the gender they're getting married to, doesn't affect your marriage. So why do you care about how other people are getting married, right? You should just not have an issue, and that's exactly how I feel. Anyone should be able to get married to anybody, because one marriage doesn't affect another person's marriage. Just like, to me, one person's NX that's only digital doesn't affect my NX that's all physical. Does that make sense? I know it's a strange, heavy-handed comparison, but that's kind of how the way that I look at that with like the gay marriage thing is the exact way I look at my gaming. It's like, I don't care how you're playing your games, because how you play your games doesn't affect how I play my games. And how I play my games shouldn't affect how you play your games. So anyone who wants any different NX, if they came out with 10 different versions of the NX and, one played physical games, one did all digital, another one was powered off of dirt, like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you want the dirt powered NX, you buy the dirt powered NX. I'm going to buy the physical copy. Maybe your neighbor buys the digital. And then it's like, hey, if they make all those different versions of the NX, it means that there's somebody out there who would want to play that version of it. So you feed your different markets, and no one market is impacting the other market. And so that's a great thing. Now, I do still have to talk about the negative sides to this. The negative sides are you're obviously alienating your audience, and you're segregating your audience. And I think that as far as a business decision, I don't know that it's smart from a business side, because at least in the West, here in North America, and probably in Europe, I'd think too, I just don't know that the market needs or wants that kind of segregation. So that's where I still see this as a potential problem if this turned out to be true. Like I said, it doesn't affect me, so I don't really care. But when I think about the business side of it, I would have to wonder if it would be a smart business decision to do so, which is why I still wonder if it's even going to be true. I mean, most importantly, I think what I should get out here is I don't necessarily believe this rumor. Yes, I'm talking about it, but that's the thing about the rumors is I'm only talking about it if it turned out to be true and what would be the benefits or the drawbacks to this. If I had to put money on it right now, I feel like this isn't true. Knowing Nintendo, they take these crazy patents, and we always theorize and speculate, just like going back to the Nintendo 21 thing years and years ago that I brought up recently. They take these patents and they turn them into like the last thing we ever think they're going to become. So I just don't know that this news is going to really result in the two different SKUs like people are assuming it might be. But it's a rumor. You never know. I mean, based on the information, this idea seems sound. I mean, it could be something that could happen, but I just don't know that I believe it yet until I hear more solid info. The last couple of times there's been rumors about things, like Zombie U, for example. I got to tell you, I was steadfast in my belief that something was going to be that way, and I was proven wrong. Twice recently I was proven wrong. I think once about Devil's Third and once about Zombie U. So obviously I can sit here and tell you I don't think that these rumors are going to be true, and with my luck it turns out to be true, and it turns out I was wrong. But whatever, that's why I'm talking about it now. So yeah, I don't think that the business side of this could be very smart, because I just don't know what the benefit would be to people picking one or the other. Because what I think about is, like, what if people change their mind, That's the biggest problem Nintendo or anyone would run into in doing this. At first it seems like this great new, grassroots kind of, project to, like, create this whole, for the first time ever, we're going to be a company that releases two different options with their boxes this way. And it seems pretty revolutionary and very forward thinking. And it actually is very forward thinking. But I think that it might be too early to do something like that. And like I said, I think about the people who would buy the digital-only one, and just what if they change their mind? Like, people are getting shoehorned into they can only play their games on the Nintendo system this way, until the next system comes out. Like, they're obligating themselves to all digital or all physical for such a long period of time. And I think that's a risky proposition. You're asking a lot of people, not to mention, like, when you think about the all-physical one, and this is a problem that makes me think that this isn't even going to be true. If you get the all-physical box, what about games that release only digital anyway, like on the eShop, and virtual console stuff? Like, what about, like, Shovel Knight 2? What if Shovel Knight 2 comes out, and it's obviously going to be a downloadable only thing? Does the physical only box, remove your ability to play that game? Or maybe the physical only box still gives you access to download stuff like that, but then it's like, well, what's the point of even having a digital only one? Unless the big thing is the digital only box becomes quite a bit cheaper. And so here we get back into the other sort of side, which is kind of skewing more into the positive sides a little bit, is what you get with the physical only one, or the digital only one, sorry, and this is kind of reported in some of the rumors too, when they were theorizing about what this could mean, is you're saving money by having less components and less moving parts inside the machine if you do the digital only, right? You don't have a disk drive. You don't have a bunch of moving parts and a laser and a drive and all these things that are moving to read disks as you play them. So that's going to mean there's less parts going into the box, less technology going into the box, which means it's going to cost less money to produce. Also, they mentioned that when you're not using part of the system's power to power the moving parts necessary to run a disk drive. You're also saving the power consumption, and maybe you're able to reroute some of that to the other functions and features of the machine so that it can do other things more efficiently because it's not spreading its power usage to all these different aspects and components of the machine, of the box. Yeah, I would think that stuff's pretty true. That would be a huge benefit. Two huge benefits to the digital-only machine. And the fact that I can even say that as somebody who hates digital media is a pretty big deal, I feel. But you could very potentially have a cheaper machine with the digital-only one, and you'd have a machine that might have more efficiency in the other features it's running because it's not using power to run a disk drive. So maybe that's how this could work. In a realistic situation, if this happened, they release the physical-only one, and it's not even physical only, I should say. It's a regular one. It does physical and downloadable. That's what I think that would have to be. But maybe for $50 to $100 less, you could buy the digital only one. And that becomes a great advantage to Nintendo and to some gamers to say, hey, like, people are going to spend less money to buy this one. Nintendo's making more money because they don't have to create physical copies of games that are going to run on that machine, and that does cost game manufacturers less money when they're only doing digital stuff. And it's why the digital future makes sense way down the road for these game companies, because it's less overhead. They're spending less on the bottom line to get more profit back. So they become more profitable with that business model for sure. Even though I hate it, it is more profitable. I have to admit that, So that's how I think that would have to work. I keep messing them up. The digital-only machine would probably be cheaper because of those things. Less power, less moving parts, less of a machine, no disk drive, all these different things. Although that's offset a little bit by the fact that they would probably have to include a much larger hard drive storage space within that box, because once you're downloading everything, you're using crazy memory to store those games. So I feel like the price would even out a little bit, because maybe you get like a 2 terabyte hard drive with that one, and you get like 500 gigs with the physical box, something like that, So you get into this whole, what does each system offer, and what features can they do and can they not do, and what do they cost based on what components are inside the box, That's where you get into the real stickiness of it. So at the end of the day, when I kind of, in summary here, kind of cutting myself off, in summary, like I said, at the end of the day, I don't care. This rumor, to me, the one thing this rumor tells me is that I could still buy the machine and play the games that I want to play the way I want to play them going forward. So I don't really care. It doesn't bother me that there might be 2 different SKUs for the next machine. That being said, I don't think it's smart for several reasons. It's people are being obligated to play their games one way or another for a very long period of time. And I think that it wouldn't be smart here in the West. I just don't think that business model is going to make sense to people, and it could be just too confusing and too much segregation. Those are the big drawbacks that I think are why, at the end of the day, I don't think this is going to be possible. That being said, options are always nice. We look at this recent Splatoon controversy for how people want their options, and maybe that's where Nintendo is coming from with this. People want options. They're not making anyone have to play any way that they don't want to, really, by giving people options with 2 different machines. So that is a good thing. It's trying to give people what they want. You can't fault them for trying to give people what they want, even if the business model may not be the best or the smartest thing out of the gate. At least it's an attempt to do the right thing, and I think that's semi-commendable. And you might be able to be saving money. Maybe people are willing to save $50 or $100 on a machine to buy the digital-only one because that's how they like gaming, and they're willing to save that money on the physical box. There's definitely good things there when you look at it from that angle. But at this point, who even knows? This is all rumor, like I said in the beginning, and like all the reports about this are reminding us, this is all rumor. This is just going off of patents, and patents can turn into anything, or they can even turn into nothing. Sometimes that happens. I mean, every single gaming company probably has stacks and file cabinets full of patents that they've filed over the years that they've done nothing with, and probably never will do anything with. And Nintendo probably more than anyone, because they're the one who are always trying the crazy, wacky, out there ideas and weird controllers and interfaces and all sorts of nutty things. I mean, who even knows what's going to happen? But, those are my thoughts on this. I feel like everyone's jumping the gun and, like, thinking, oh, this spells this for the future, and this spells that for the future. This spells doom for the future, and this is going to be a horrible idea, or maybe this will be a good idea. Everyone's all over the place. Whoops. And I feel like we don't have to worry about it yet. It's all rumor anyway. I don't really think it's going to be true, but even if it is, I feel like there's enough good to what could happen if Nintendo does it right, and that's the key, is they do have to do this right and market it right. it might not be that big a deal, and it might be totally fine, and then no one's really affected. I feel like the most important thing to focus on is, hopefully, if this turned out to be true, the way you want to game won't be affected by how other people may be gaming. That's my approach to this. As long as I can game how I want, I don't care how you're going to game, and don't let how I game affect how you're going to game. That's how I feel about it. So that's it, man. That's these crazy rumors and my thoughts about these patents and what people are saying about the physical and digital only potential future of Nintendo's next machine. And, and if this did happen and if it was successful, this might be the genesis of this, and the other companies end up jumping on board. I mean, we all know that the digital future is coming, whether it's in 5 years or whether it's in 25 years. We know that it's coming. So, like I said, I don't care if this begins it, provided it still gives me the option for physical media. So I'm going to leave it at that, man. Those are my thoughts. Now it's time for you guys. What do you think? Lots going on with this whole concept and this topic and these rumors, man. I've seen a lot of people sharing thoughts back and forth. So I want to hear what you guys think. Share in the comments below what you think is going to be, how you think this could affect what's going on, and if you think the rumors are true or not. And if they were true, how do you feel about it? So that's it. Thanks, as always, for tuning in, guys. Thanks for waiting a couple days for me to get to this now that my moving around is over. And this is Rob of Rule of Two Review. I will catch you guys next time on another video.